Genesis chapter 21 marks a pivotal moment in the redemptive story, the long-awaited fulfillment of a divine promise that seemed impossible to human eyes. After decades of waiting, of faltering faith, and human attempts to force God's hand, the covenant child is born. This chapter presents us with a profound theological tension, a narrative that unfolds with both jubilant celebration and painful separation. We witness the clear establishment of the line of promise through Isaac, yet simultaneously we see God's unwavering care for those who appear to be outside that specific covenant. The birth of Isaac is not merely a happy ending to a long story. It is the divine affirmation that God's word is sure, His timing is perfect, and His plans cannot be thwarted by human weakness or circumstance. This event sets the stage for everything that follows, forcing a reckoning with the nature of inheritance, the reality of exclusion, and the surprising breadth of divine provision. The covenant child, Isaac's birth and significance. Let's read verses 1 through 7. And the Lord visited Sarah as he had said, and the Lord did unto Sarah as he had spoken. For Sarah conceived, and bare Abraham a son in his old age, at the set time of which God had spoken to him. And Abraham called the name of his son that was born unto him, whom Sarah bare to him, Isaac. And Abraham circumcised his son Isaac, being 8 days old, as God had commanded him. And Abraham was 100 years old, when his son Isaac was born unto him. And Sarah said, God hath made me to laugh, so that all that hear will laugh with me. And she said, Who would have said unto Abraham that Sarah should have given children suck? For I have borne him a son in my old age. The analysis here is rich with theological significance. The text emphasizes God's precise faithfulness with phrases like as he had said, as he had spoken, and at the set time. This is not a random act of nature, it is the deliberate fulfillment of a covenant promise. The birth occurs according to God's sovereign timetable, underscoring that the child is truly a product of divine power, not human possibility. Sarah's declaration, God hath made me to laugh, gives profound meaning to the name Isaac, which means he laughs. The laughter of disbelief from chapter 18 is transformed into the laughter of joyous fulfillment. Her rhetorical question, who would have said unto Abraham, highlights the miraculous nature of the event, a testimony to all who hear of God's power to bring life from barrenness. Abraham's immediate obedience in naming the child Isaac and circumcising him on the 8th day is a critical act of covenant ratification. The name itself was dictated by God in chapter 17, and the circumcision seals the child into the covenant community. This act formally distinguishes Isaac from Ishmael, who was circumcised at 13 as a son of the household, but not as the specific child of the promise. The narrative carefully establishes Isaac's unique position. He is the one through whom the covenant promises of nationhood, land, and blessing will flow. This represents a significant shift in the redemptive narrative, moving the focus from Ishmael, whose name means God hears, to Isaac, he laughs. The story pivots from God's response to human desperation to God's fulfillment of his own sovereign word. Isaac's birth is the anchor point of the Abrahamic covenant, the guarantee that God's plan will move forward according to his purpose. Moving on to verses 8 through 14, we encounter the difficult and painful severance that Isaac's arrival necessitates. And the child grew and was weaned, and Abraham made a great feast the same day that Isaac was weaned. And Sarah saw the son of Hagar the Egyptian, which she had borne unto Abraham, mocking. Wherefore she said unto Abraham, Cast out this bondwoman and her son, for the son of this bondwoman shall not be heir with my son, even with Isaac. And the thing was very grievous in Abraham's sight because of his son. And God said unto Abraham, Let it not be grievous in thy sight because of the lad, and because of thy bondwoman. In all that Sarah hath said unto thee, hearken unto her voice. For in Isaac shall thy seed be called, and also of the son of the bondwoman will I make a nation, because he is thy seed. And Abraham rose up early in the morning, and took bread and a bottle of water, and gave it unto Hagar, putting it on her shoulder and the child, and sent her away. And she departed and wandered in the wilderness of Beersheba. The analysis here reveals a conflict rooted in the fundamental distinction between the son of the promise and the son of the flesh. The scene at Isaac's weaning feast, a celebration of his survival and entry into childhood, is shattered by Sarah's observation of Ishmael mocking. The Hebrew word here can imply playing, but in this context it carries a menacing tone of ridicule or usurpation. Sarah's demand is stark and legalistic. Cast out this bondwoman and her son, for the son of this bondwoman shall not be heir with my son, even with Isaac. Her concern is for Isaac's exclusive inheritance, recognizing that the covenant blessings cannot be shared or diluted. This is not merely a personal rivalry, it is a theological imperative to preserve the purity of the promised line. Abraham's distress is palpable. The text says the matter was very grievous in Abraham's sight because of his son. Ishmael is still his son, a boy he has loved for years. This is a heart-wrenching decision. Yet God intervenes directly, confirming Sarah's harsh demand. God's instruction to Abraham is crucial. Let it not be grievous in thy sight, for in Isaac shall thy seed be called. This divine affirmation makes the separation a matter of obedience, not just domestic strife. God reiterates the primacy of the covenant line through Isaac. However, in his mercy, God immediately provides a promise for Ishmael. Also, of the son of the bondwoman will I make a nation, because he is thy seed. Ishmael is not utterly rejected by God. He is simply removed from the central line of the covenant promise. Abraham's obedience is swift and heartbreakingly minimal, bread and a bottle of water, highlighting the severity of the expulsion. Hagar and Ishmael are cast out into the wilderness, a place that symbolizes divine judgment and abandonment, setting the stage for a profound demonstration of God's care for the outcast. Let's continue with verses 15 through 21. And the water was spent in the bottle, and she cast the child under one of the shrubs. And she went and sat her down over against him a good way off, as it were a bow shot. For she said, Let me not see the death of the child. And she sat over against him, and lifted up her voice, and wept. And God heard the voice of the lad, and the angel of God called to Hagar out of heaven, and said unto her, What aileth thee, Hagar? Fear not, for God hath heard the voice of the lad where he is. Arise, lift up the lad, and hold him in thine hand, for I will make him a great nation. And God opened her eyes, and she saw a well of water, and she went and filled the bottle with water, and gave the lad drink. And God was with the lad, and he grew, and dwelt in the wilderness, and became an archer. And he dwelt in the wilderness of Paran. And his mother took him a wife out of the land of Egypt. The analysis here powerfully demonstrates that divine election does not mean divine abandonment. Hagar and Ishmael reach the absolute extremity of human desperation. The water is gone, and Hagar, unable to watch her son die, places him under a shrub and moves a distance away. This is the epitome of being cast out. Yet, in this moment of utter hopelessness, the meaning of Ishmael's name, God hears, is dramatically fulfilled. The text states, God heard the voice of the lad. It is significant that God hears the boy's cry, even when no formal prayer is recorded. The angel of God intervenes, not to scold Hagar for her despair, but to comfort her with the assurance, fear not. God's promise from chapter 16 is reiterated, I will make him a great nation. The provision is immediate and miraculous. God opens Hagar's eyes to see a well of water that was there all along, but which her despair had blinded her to. This is a profound picture of divine grace, not always removing the wilderness, but providing sustenance within it. Ishmael's future is secure under God's care. He grows, becomes a skilled archer, and settles in the wilderness of Paran, ultimately taking a wife from Egypt. This narrative establishes a crucial theological tension. While the covenant promise flows exclusively through Isaac, God's providential care and blessing extend to Ishmael, demonstrating that his compassion is not limited to the chosen line. And it came to pass at that time that Abimelech and Phicol the chief captain of his host spake unto Abraham, saying, God is with thee in all that thou doest. Now therefore swear unto me here by God, that thou wilt not deal falsely with me, nor with my son, nor with my son's son, but according to the kindness that I have done unto thee, thou shalt do unto me, and to the land wherein thou hast sojourned. And Abraham said, I will swear. And Abraham reproved Abimelech because of a well of water, which Abimelech's servants had violently taken away. And Abimelech said, I wot not who hath done this thing, neither didst thou tell me, neither yet heard I of it, but today. And Abraham took sheep and oxen, and gave them unto Abimelech, and both of them made a covenant. And Abraham set 7 ewe lambs of the flock by themselves. And Abimelech said unto Abraham, What mean these 7 ewe lambs which thou hast set by themselves? And he said, For these 7 ewe lambs shalt thou take of my hand, that they may be a witness unto me, that I have digged this well. Wherefore he called that place Beersheba, because there they swear both of them. Thus they made a covenant at Beersheba. Then Abimelech rose up, and Phicol the chief captain of his host, and they returned into the land of the Philistines. And Abraham planted a grove in Beersheba, and called there on the name of the Lord, the everlasting God. And Abraham sojourned in the Philistines' land many days. This final scene provides a stark contrast and a resolution. After the intimate drama of the wilderness, the narrative returns to Abraham, now established and recognized by the pagan king Abimelech, who declares, God is with thee in all that thou doest. Abraham is no longer a wandering nomad, but a powerful figure with whom a king seeks a treaty. The dispute over the well of water is significant. While Hagar found a temporary well of survival in the wilderness, Abraham secures a permanent, legally recognized well, the well of the oath, Beersheba. This act symbolizes the secure, covenantal footing he now possesses. The exchange of 7 ewe lambs formalizes Abraham's rightful ownership, a testimony to his established presence in the land. Abraham then plants a tamarisk tree, a long-living species, symbolizing his enduring faith and permanent connection to this place of covenant confirmation. The chapter concludes with Abraham calling upon the Lord, the everlasting God, a title emphasizing God's eternal faithfulness that transcends generations. This scene at Beersheba, the well of the oath, bookends the chapter, showing God's faithfulness to the chosen line, even as the earlier scene demonstrated his compassionate provision for the cast-out line. Genesis 21 presents a profound picture of God's complex faithfulness. It is a faithfulness that is both specific and universal. His covenant promise is fulfilled meticulously and exclusively through Isaac, the child of promise. Yet, his providential care extends with compassion to Hagar and Ishmael in their exile. The chapter challenges simplistic notions of blessing, showing that God's ways involve both election and a broader, sustaining grace. We are called to trust in this dual nature of God's character, his specific promises for his people, and his unwavering care for all his creation, even in the wilderness places. May you walk in the wisdom of this truth, trusting in the God who keeps his covenant and hears the cry of the outcast. Thanks for watching.